guys. Okay, nice, not work. What's happening, everybody? All right, sorry for the rough start there. I thought I had this all figured out. Guys, I have been sick for about a week, so bear with me. I still am not 100%. I've been having some health issues that I've been addressing, but I wanted to do a live stream and talk about the pickups I had last week. I'm seeing a commercial for a new It here. Oh boy. Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm trying to bring up. There we go. All right, I'm gonna do some camera funniness for a second, like I always do, because I'm retarded. All right, let's see. All right, let's make sure that works. Oh no, I gotta hit the majig. Now it should work. All right. So what's going on, everybody? Like I said, bear with me. I'm not going to be like full capacity energy here today because I'm still kind of recovering. I had the flu. I think I had the flu. Who knows these days? But I had something that pretty much leveled me for the whole week. I wasn't able to work, unfortunately. And then I had some other health complications, but don't worry, nothing crazy, nothing like threatening. So I've got some doctors lined up, and we're going to get it sorted out. But I wanted to talk about I went to I think it was Monday, actually, when I started to feel pretty ill. I went to a couple thrift stores, and I picked up some cool stuff. I've already done a couple shorts out of this, but this will be an overview of the things that I picked up. So let's jump right in. I'm going to take a sip of water, just trying to stay hydrated. Rest a lot. Yeah, it sucks. The flu sucks. I had some sort of respiratory bug. And so, still coughing a little bit and whatnot. But no big deal. Alright guys, we're going to go over the stuff that I am going to be moving from the collection. And then I'll save the stuff that I'm keeping, which is a stack here, for last. I have a few box sets, a little bit of everything here today. I've got a Blu-ray or two. Got some DVDs, I've got some VHS, and I've got some box sets, a bunch of box sets that I'm going to be selling. I keep finding really good deals at this Cause for Pause that puts out these box sets, which I'm pretty confident they're getting as overstock, and then they price them at, well, the lady, she's very nice there. She hooks me up and gives them all to me for $1. So all the box sets you see are going to be $1. I might move them on eBay. We don't sell box sets very well at the store, so I might just end up moving them on eBay. I got to move a bunch of stuff to eBay ASAP because I missed out on a bunch of money this week because of work. So, because missing work. But I should be able to get back to work tomorrow or this week, and I plan to do so. Alright guys, so first things first, I'll start off with a pretty cool one that is fetching a solid 30 or 40 bucks. And you never know. You know, there's certain DVDs you look at and you're like, oh, that's garbage. And, you know, to most people it is. But not to Sawyer Brown fans. You guys know Sawyer Brown, the hits, right? No, nobody knows Sawyer Brown. Oh, actually, maybe people do know Sawyer Brown because I'm seeing Taking Care of Business here. So, did they sing, like, Taking Care of Business? You know, that kind of thing? Was that their song? Who knows? It says 1974, so maybe it was, or maybe this is like a different band doing a version of it. I have no idea. I don't give a shit. This is worth 30 bucks, so I'll be selling this. I'm definitely, see, something like this has to go on eBay. Something like this never will sell for 30 bucks at my game shop that I work at, or the game shop that I work at. And so, yeah, so this will be going on eBay ASAP, honestly. It should already be on eBay, but I haven't had the energy till today to do much. So that's that. Next up, film I'm pretty sure I have. I need to verify that, and then I'll be moving this one. I think it's worth, I forget what it's worth. I looked these up. But this is a film called The Official Story. This is a Spanish language film. I believe it's an Argentine film. And one that I'm interested in because it takes place, you know, I'm a history fan. It's about political corruption. It's about Argentine. Who is the Argentine dictator? I'm trying to remember. Perón, and then, oh my God. He doesn't have a Spanish last name. Stroessner. Pretty sure Stroessner was the dictator after Perón. No, not Stroessner. He was Uruguay. Come on, Mike, think. Argentine. It's Perón. And then, yeah, I can't think. Anyway, this is a Spanish language film that I believe I already have. Sorry, guys, my energy and my mind, es no work, es no trabaja. This one here is definitely for the store. I just need to put it in a different case. This is Dragon Ball Z, The Best Fights. Top 7 fan favorite fights. Gotta love the good alliteration there. And, yeah, I'm not a Dragon Ball Z fan. It's too vast. There's too many episodes. Like, on the back here, it says episode 269. I don't have time like that. I don't know who has time like that. That's an adult and works. But more power to you. If you could fit in 300 episodes of a show, that's awesome. I know a lot of people grew up with this. I grew up avoiding it. I liked different anime when I was growing up. I liked the cyberpunk. I liked the weird, violent Akira, Cyber City Oedo. I like Ninja Scroll. I wasn't huge on Dragon Ball Z. I did grow up watching a little bit of Dragon Ball, which plays a little weird now because the first episode has a baby Goku, and he's like doing a kick, and then his little weenie is like flopping in the wind. I mean, tiny, like a baby weenie, obviously. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man? This is I don't remember it like this. But you know, the Japanese they have their quirks just like everybody does, and I don't take offense by it or anything like that. I'm sure some people do. But it's just so funny. All I can see in my head when I think about Dragon Ball now is last time I rewatched it, and it's just a Goku flying through the air and just a little peepee, a little wiener just wiggling along. All right, next up we have one of the cooler ones out of the box sets I picked up. Something from my childhood, Lizzie McGuire. This probably, I think Lizzie McGuire's from like the early 2000s. I forget. I'm getting old, and I forget, or older, and I forget when, what is this, early 2000s, I want to say? Early aughts. Either way, Lizzie McGuire was a fun show back in the day. I remember enjoying. I watched Even Stevens a little bit more back in the day, and some of the other Disney live-action stuff. I think that was when they were airing Boy Meets World in like the late 90s, early aughts, so I was watching that. But this was a fun show, despite it being girly or whatever. We didn't really care. I didn't really care back in the day. If I like the show, I'm going to watch the show. But the first 22 episodes from the hit Disney Channel series, that is Lizzie McGuire. This, I think, fetches like 20 or 25 bucks or so. So, not bad. What's up, No Mayo? All is well. Well enough. Any Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network DVD finds coming up? I'm not sure. To be honest, it's been about a week since I've looked through here. There could be. It just kind of comes down to what I found last time I was hunting. And I've been sick this week, and I kind of forgot about what I picked up, so this is kind of a surprise. I'm relearning myself here. But yeah, Lizzie McGuire. Hey, I got something from Disney Channel back in the day. Here we have Pokemon. Pikachu and Friends. This is, 8 episodes. I believe the first 8 episodes. You know, if this is the first 8 episodes, I might actually keep it around, because the first 8 episodes is really what I am super nostalgic for. Like, the first part of that first season was magical. And I still think the first episode, Pokemon I Choose You, has a beautiful 20-minute story with Ash and Pika. They meet. Pika gets into trouble. Pika's about to die. Pika is injured. And it's a big lesson for Ash to not, jump into things, take things slow, plan things. It's a great 25-minute story, 25-minute story that really sticks with me. And I remember watching it years ago. I watched it as a kid, but watching it a couple of years ago, I was emotionally moved by it. And, you know, obviously I have an attachment to the characters because I played these games a lot back in the day. What's up, West Tex? Thank you so much for tuning in and for sticking with me. Thank you very much. And Pokemon Pikachu and Friends, like I said, I'd more so be interested in the first season. But if this is the first 8 episodes, I don't really have any of these on DVD, so I'll probably keep this around until I do upgrade to the first full season. So that's pretty cool. Here we got a funny one. Barney's all-new Rhyme Time Rhythm. This is Barney stuff from back from when I grew up, frankly. This stuff is super nostalgic for me. I'm not the type of... Listen, I'm not going to sit down, just because I loved this as a kid, I'm not going to sit down and watch Barney as an adult. I'm just not going to. I'm not going to enjoy it. I'd rather those memories rest and die in my head. You know, it's not going to play the same. It's like some movies you watch and it doesn't quite have the same vibe that it did. Like, I always bring up Problem Child 2, doesn't have quite the same vibe as it did when I was a kid. But this is... I have 2 other Barney DVDs that I'll be selling. Honestly, I do own the Barney movie. Did I say Barbie? The Barney movie. That I'll rewatch at some point, just because that was such a big movie back in the 90s for me. And so exciting. I want to see how that kind of holds up as a feature film. And maybe like the Halloween and the Christmas episodes, I'd like to have those. But I don't need every episode of Barney that I've ever seen. I mean, that's, you know... It's a little excessive. I'm 37 years old. I'm not saying that it's too old to watch Barney, but maybe I am. Maybe I am saying that. To sit down and really, like, soak up all the Barney seasons. What's up? No Mayo. Yes, were you a Thomas the Train Engine? Yeah, I enjoyed Thomas the Train Engine. But I wasn't so much into trains and cars when I was growing up. I was more so into... not saying Thomas the Train Engine isn't imaginative. Of course it is. But the train kind of thing wasn't really a hook for me. I was more into Barney, Gullah Gullah Island. There was a lot of weird, like, even Sesame Street Muppets, that kind of stuff back in the day. I'm trying to think. Magellan's Castle. There's a lot of old classic stuff that I used to watch. Live action stuff from the early 90s. Obviously on Nickelodeon and Disney and elsewhere. A lot of great puppetry from that era. And who was Shirley... Lamb Chop, you know, all that kind of stuff. I really grew up really enjoying that stuff. But this is, again, Barney. Pretty cool. Here we have Braveheart. Alf, I never grew up watching Alf. I kind of missed that. I never caught reruns of that in the early 90s. Braveheart is obviously a fantastic film directed by Mel Gibson. One of my favorite films of all time. I think this film is just full of heart and passion. Just like the man who directed it. Love him or hate him, he's a passionate man. He speaks his mind. And a lot of people don't like it. I don't like some of the things he says, but I don't dismiss the guy. I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think he has a lot of important things to say. And I think he's smart. Yeah, he said some real fucked up things that I would never say, and I wouldn't wish someone else to say, but it's a free country. You could say what you want to say. I don't think the man ever committed any acts of violence. So to me... That's fine. Words don't really bug me too much, because I have the capacity to disagree and to reason. Doug from the Nickelodeon era. Yes, Doug. See, I would still watch Doug. The difference there, West Tex, between Doug and Barney, it's obvious. Barney is made for very, very young children. Doug was made for kids that were coming of age, for kids that were getting older. They dealt with very adult situations or teenage situations, like Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold has a lot of lessons to teach especially adults in our era, and so Doug, things like that. I still would rewatch those, even Rugrats. But there's the stuff that I was watching before. I'm not sure how much of that I would go back to. I don't even really like going back to Sesame Street or the Muppets or anything like that. I don't know. A lot of it has to do with because those memories in my head are very cherished. There's some things that I want to let rest in the past. I hope that makes sense. As Told by Ginger. Yeah, that was a good show. As Told by Ginger. Really fun show. Back in the day. What was it? What was that? Pepper Ann. Wasn't that another one? Pepper Ann, you can do it, you can. Pepper Ann, you can do it. I forgot all about that one. As Told by Ginger. I gotta look that one up now. For a second, when you said As Told by Ginger, I was thinking Pepper Ann, but it's not the same thing, right? Yeah, those are back in the day when they used to make girly shows, but they were still accessible to everybody. I thought that was fantastic. But yeah, next up here, guys, another one that's just gonna go to the store. It's brand new and sealed for $1. Somebody will snag this. Fast and the Furious 9. You know, Fast and the Furious 9 was not one of my favorites, that's for sure. Here we have one of my favorites. This is a film that I do watch every few years. I love this film. It's very nostalgic. It's kind of like Rain Man for kids. Rain Man for kids and Nintendo fans. And this film, is it a giant commercial for Nintendo and for Super Mario Bros. 3? Yep, it sure is. I didn't know that as a kid. I didn't figure that as a kid. I consider that as a kid. But as an adult, that is certainly what it is. But it is a heartfelt film with a lot of passion, I think, that went into the filmmaking. A lot of product placement, of course, but man, is that product placement cool watching Christian Slater playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Bo, what's his name? Bo Bridges playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and games like that. And watching, seeing the guys, like, call in the hotline to get tips. And I just, it's so nostalgic, so cool. It's a big commercial, but it's really well done. It's weaved in there pretty decently, I thought. Thoughts on the current Nintendo today? Not a fan of Nintendo's direction. I guess what I could say is I'm not supporting them financially for the first time in my life. So I think that tells you what needs to be said. I'll pick up a Switch 2 at some point when it's used. I don't want to give Nintendo any more money. I believe that they've lost a bit of their soul. I think the way that they're pivoting is not the direction I would have hoped. More bureaucratic, more businessy, and more samey. Not really focused on the fun and games anymore. When I was a new parent, like almost 20 years ago, I remember Yo Gabba Gabba for the kids and Dora the Explorer. Still nostalgic as being a new parent. That's really cool that you have those memories, Westex. I have those memories actually with my little brother, because my little brother's 21 now, 20, and he grew up watching those shows, and yeah, so I understand what you're saying, but that's cool that you have a connection with your kids that way. Good man. But yeah, so The Wizard, I absolutely love. This is a great film. This is not like a masterpiece or anything like that, but it's fun, it's paced well, it's funny, it's got good acting, it's got heartfelt moments that still make me emotional. And like I said, it kind of is Rain Man for a younger crowd and for Nintendo fans. So, The Wizard. That one obviously will sell at the store. It's all about video games. It's so bad. So good. Here we have Jimmy Stewart in a Hitchcock picture, Rope. This one is notable because it was an early film that was shot in a pseudo one take. This is a short film, 81 minutes long, but it was shot as if, and cut as if it was in one take. And this is a good movie. I remember enjoying it the first time I watched it. I haven't seen it in a long time. I have it on Blu-ray. I have it in my Alfred Hitchcock collection, so I'll be moving that one. Mr. Bob, yo, Board Cyborg, how's it hanging? It's hanging down amongst my ankles. Do you have any experimental, surrealist, or cult films? Yeah, I do. I have some. I'm not the biggest fan of avant-garde. I need some sort of grounding in terms of narrative or characters. I think that's a big part of what storytelling means to me. But as somebody who's made experimental films with not much of that going on at all, I understand what they're there for. And off the top of my head, I have Chien Andalou. What's that? Un Chien Andalou, which is the... Here, let me grab it. I'm going to have to use the bathroom in a second. That's one thing I'm peeing a lot, because I'm drinking a lot of water. Un Chien Andalou. Yes, here we are. Un Chien Andalou. This is a very popular, one of the more famous experimental films here by Luis Buñuel. This is famous because it was Salvador Dali helped write this and helped come up with some of the concepts. There's some... Man, what's the Japanese filmmaker? I'm not going to be able to think of it, but he has a lot of really cool experimental shorts that were so inspirational to me. I made my own experimental short, actually, because of it, and I can't remember his name, but it's from the 80s and 90s. Very short, trippy, like using all of these weird camera effects and focus effects to make something unique. This one is known for its cut of the eye sequence. Keep in mind, this is from 1929, so the fact that they have somebody's eye being cut open, like a real eye, I think it was like some sort of donor eye or something like that, is pretty disturbing and pretty cool. So, yeah, this is the little silent film here, Un Chien Andalou. That's one of the experimental ones I can think of off the top of my head. Oh, thank you so much, Westex. I mean, yeah, that is a beautiful comment. Thank you very much. I mean, that's why I'm doing this, because film means a lot to me, and I want to share that with you guys. So thank you very much. I could cry, but I'm not going to be a big baby. That's what this is all about. Mr. Bob, I am into David Lynch films. Yeah, I like Lynch. A couple I haven't seen. I love Eraserhead, if you want to consider that experimental. It surely is. I love Eraserhead. That's my favorite of his by far. Everything else, I don't know. I need to watch a few times to really appreciate it. I haven't seen Elephant Man. I haven't seen Straight Story. There are a few of his flicks that I still need to sit down and watch. I like Blue Velvet. No Mayo says, do you think Christopher Nolan is operated or properly rated? Operated. Oh, overrated or properly rated? Properly rated. I think he's one of the best filmmakers of our generation. I don't think there's any doubt to that. I think he's always pushing the medium forward, always trying new things. I love his conceptual work surrounding time, what time is, how it moves, how time interacts with cinema. I think Tenet was a really interesting film in a lot of ways, and I want to watch it a couple more times to really get it. But I love Nolan. I mean, I love the Batman trilogy, especially The Dark Knight. I love Inception. Memento is a damn near masterpiece. I even like Insomnia. I like all of his films. Following, I've not seen anything by Nolan that I dislike. It's kind of like Aronofsky. I think both are some of the best. What's up, Ralph Rosa? How's it going, buddy? Thank you for tuning in. Mayo asks, are you a Frank Darabont fan? Yeah, I'm so much a fan of Frank Darabont that I wish he did more films. I mean, the guy did, what, 4 or 5 movies. He wrote a film back in the day called Buried Alive, a little horror thriller, kind of in the vein of Blood Simple, a really good one. And then he would do, obviously, most famously, Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile, and The Majestic. And then finally, I think the last film he did was The Mist, and I fucking love The Mist. Maybe I'm missing something, but I'm a huge Darabont fan. I think he could have been one of the great directors of all time. I'm not exactly sure what happened. Maybe he's doing television. I'm not sure. Mr. Bob says, I haven't seen The Elephant Man, Wild at Heart, and The Straight Story. I haven't seen those either, and those are some of his more accessible films from Lynch, and I would love to sit down and watch those at some point. I was close to watching The Elephant Man the other day, and The Straight Story. I had like both in my hand. I was kind of like, eh. Oliver Stone is a great director. Yeah, I think he's hit or miss for me, but things like Snowden, JFK, The Doors, Platoon are really great films. Then you have things like The Savages. I'm blanking on a couple of his other ones, but yeah, he's not like my favorite filmmaker, but I love his audacity. I love that he pushes the boundaries again. He pisses a lot of people off when he makes films, and that makes me happy. That's what it's all about, you know. So Oliver Stone is a great talent and a great filmmaker for sure. Guys, I hate to do this, but I gotta pee real quick. Bear with me. Don't you move. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Alright guys, we're back. We're back in effect. Westex says I always have to use the restroom too when I'm playing Fortnite. I hear ya. Yeah, I have some gut issues that unfortunately cause me to urinate quite often. and I stay very hydrated, so the mix of those two things, I'm going pee every half hour to an hour if I'm lucky, an hour. But it's mostly normal. It's just, it is what it is. It's just personal stuff. Nomeo asks, Robert Rodriguez or Quentin Tarantino? Tarantino, no doubt about it. I think Tarantino has never made a bad film. I think Robert Rodriguez has made a bad film. Granted, his output is probably about, what, 3 times as many as Tarantino, 2.5 to 3 times as many films. Rodriguez also makes films for the kids, you know, which I think is great, but not really appealing to me. But Tarantino, hands down, no question about it. Tarantino's one of the reasons I got into film. I remember when I broke out in the cinematic world when I was like 12 or 13, I started watching Tarantino behind my mom's back. She wouldn't let me watch Pulp Fiction in the 90s, and I was held a grudge over that for many years. And then finally, when I had access to it, aka the internet, I just downloaded it, and I fell in love with cinema. And Tarantino was really one of the filmmakers that opened me up to the possibilities of what it meant to be a filmmaker. What a director meant. You know, up until that point when I was 12 or 13, I started to realize, oh, a director is like, you know, the lead singer in a band or whatever it might be. And, you know, I love Tarantino. So let's get back to it, guys. Because I want to talk all day. As you can tell, I'd love to hang out. But I don't want to overdo it. So next up, we have a nice and complete copy here of Freddy vs. Jason. I want to see what this is. Is this just a... Oh, okay. It's just a glorified liner insert there. But yeah, Freddy vs. Jason, I noticed that I brought this into the shop. It sold to a nice young girl who I was excited to see was picking it up. And then I found another copy on whenever I went out thrifting last Monday or Sunday or whatever it was. And I found another copy. So I'm going to bring this one back. I think it'll sell again before October. It's a great, fun popcorn movie. I saw it in theaters back in the day. We snuck in, me and my buddies, and it was a great time. I still enjoy this movie quite a bit. I love Ronnie Yu's directorial style. I love his the kinetic energy that his films exude. I love the treatment of both characters. I like both killers. I like the characters enough to watch them all die in various ways. But Freddy vs. Jason was such a big deal at the time, still is to me. I mean, this is still a miracle that we have this film by a major studio and not a fan thing or whatever. I love this movie. It's a great film. Not a masterpiece. You know what I mean. All right, guys. Next up we have... I'm not going to do these one at a time, obviously. Yeah. Did I give you the right chords? Yeah. Are they not fitting?
Yeah, they're not fitting.
What do you mean? What's not fitting?
The red, white, and yellow.
Okay. Let me give you another one. Hold on. Sorry, guys. My brother's trying to play PS2, and I think I may have given him the wrong chords. I'm pretty sure I didn't, but he said I did. So I gotta try to find... Fucking hell. Give me a second, guys. Sorry. That's crazy. Be right back. Live stream. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I love Cocoon. I think Ron Howard's Cocoon is a beautiful film about regaining your youth in your older years, and fits nicely in with my adage of don't sever the tether to your youth, because if you do, you're doomed. I think you need to retain some of that vivaciousness that you had when you were a kid, some of the curiosity, the imagination, and a lot of people actively eschew that as they get older, and I think that's a mistake. Good morning, Dave. What's going on? Here it's the afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning in, Dave. I appreciate that very much. Things are going all right. I'm a little under the weather. I'm recovering from the flu. I know. It's been about a week since I went live. I've been trying to punch out. Forgive me, guys. Pump out a couple shorts, but yeah, I've been pretty sick, Dave, over the last week, and you know, just wanted to get this live stream in. Low energy today, but guys, here we have Newhart, season 1 through 8, brand new and sealed, except for the first one. But these are brand new and sealed. I should be able to get like $40 for these. I'm not gonna bring those into the store. Nobody cares about Newhart. Admittedly. It's a show I watched back in the day with my mom, though. Here we have another show, 1923. Yeah, 1923, the one with Harrison Ford. You know, I'm a fan of Taylor Sheridan. I might keep one of these around, since I got these for $1. But, yeah, just drink a lot of water. That's what I've been doing. But I had the full-blown respiratory flu. It was high fever, coughing, aching. It was honestly, it was really fucking bad. It sucked really bad. I was close to going to the ER, or the urgent care on I think it was Thursday when it was peaking. But it is what it is. I'm better now, and I haven't had the flu or anything like that in years. So I think it was COVID a few years ago I got, or whatever. This might have been COVID. Who the fuck knows? Who cares? It sucked either way. Is there any news on Dune 3? No, I'm not sure. I take garlic, horseradish, and vitamin C. Ooh, that'll get you working. Absolutely. I might have to try that. But yeah, 1923, Taylor Sheridan story here. This guy made the big time with these shows. Yellowstone, 1923, 1888, or whatever it is. But yeah, let's check that out at some point. Here we have Once Upon a Time. I think I bought seasons 1 through 3 last time I went there. They're at the shop right now. And then this is 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yeah. So 1 through 7, and they're all brand new and sealed. So I think I should be able to get like $40-50 or so. Lemon and honey in boiling hot water from the kettle. Yeah, that'll help too. I was drinking a lot of soup. My sister gave me lentil soup. And I was just, yeah, I was eating a lot of soup. That definitely helps the chest. It was a lot of coughing and a lot of aching. All right, next up we have Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Obviously, an absolute classic here, by Sergio Leone. Dave came across a Revenge of the Nerds DVD for $2. That's not bad. What's up, What was good? What have you been watching lately? I'll get to that. I wanted to talk a little bit if I have the energy. Sorry, I'm getting over a sickness here. The flu. And yeah, there was a couple films I wanted to mention that I've watched. A couple films I really loved. So, but Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Obviously, this is a fantastic film. Revenge of the Nerds is a fun one for sure. I haven't seen the sequels. That'll be going to the store. Labyrinth, classic, Jim Henson film here. Frank Oz, David Bowie, Jennifer Connelly. A beautiful and imaginative world created here with a labyrinthine set design that really is inspirational and just Henson was such a master at creating such a world that felt so realistic, so true. And has its own rules and operates in its own universe, and it's just such a cool thing. I wish I had a store, Dave. That would be awesome if I had a store, maybe one day. But no, I manage a store. I assistant manage a store for my friend Billy, video game shop. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, my collection back here. Jim Henson Workshop is sick. So many films they worked on. Yeah, they really were so imaginative and so creative. And I think our country just to speak about America, I think America's lacking this sort of innovation and talent right now, frankly. Here we have Jack Ryan, Season 1, DVD. I'm not interested in this. Doesn't interest me really at all. These CIA-funded political action shows. The DoD, the Department of Defense, works on so many of these that I don't give them any mind. I don't think our tax money should be going to making movies if we're not informed about it. I had to dig deep and put in FOIA requests to figure out over the last 5 years what movies and TV shows have been made on our dime without us knowing. Essentially, to me, that amounts to propaganda. I understand all film can be viewed as propaganda. It's a nuance. I have a nuanced opinion on this. Feel free to ask me. I'll answer how I see fit. But a lot of these are made to make America look a certain way. And it's propagandas, and a lot of it is bullshit lies. So I don't buy into it. As a historian, I try to divorce myself from that kind of thing. Hope we're not going to war with Venezuela. Yeah, I mean, who knows at this point? I have a lot to say about all this stuff. And honestly, I don't follow the headlines as much. I try to educate myself with books. I try to educate myself with journalists that I trust. The headlines mean nothing to me. You know, a lot of things are said by our administration currently, and not many of them are done. But yeah, we're a warmonger. We can't help ourselves. No matter who we vote in, we're a warmongering nation who is, floundering. So we need that oil, man. I don't approve of it. I don't like it. I don't think regime change should be part of the American political foreign policy. We have so many issues here. My God, we have so many issues here. My God, do we have so many issues here. But anyway, never heard that before. Tax dollars used in movies. Wow. Well, essentially, Dave, what I'm saying, to avoid is, I try not to. What state were you in, if you don't mind me? I'm in North Carolina. I was born in Connecticut, but in North Carolina. Yeah, essentially, even films like Godzilla 98, for example, the director made a deal with the Department of Defense to borrow equipment, our military equipment, which we pay for, to put into his movie. It's a deal. The DoD says, all right, well, you have to make the American military look a certain way. You know what I mean? So that means that the director's vision is controlled. On the other side of the coin, Roland Emmerich he approached the DoD to get some cool tanks and stuff like that. But the DoD, for Independence Day, and the DoD was like, well, you have to change the script. We don't want, like, the mention of the government and aliens and et cetera, et cetera. And Roland Emmerich was like, well, fuck you. I'm making a movie about aliens. I'm going to say what I want to say. And he turned down the DoD money, our money. Says the military complex pumps a ton of money into film. Yeah, they do. Maverick, exactly. And was funded by the Air Force. Exactly. Top Gun Maverick is a weird story because there's a lot of parallels to the plot of Top Gun Maverick. This is getting into political territory, but I've wanted to break into movie politics, if that's a thing. But Maverick had an operation in the film of an unknown enemy where they dropped 6 bunker buster bombs in the Maverick film. And then a year and a half later, or a couple years later, we just bombed Iran, their nuclear facilities. We did it pretty much the same exact way. And pretty scary, and I'm not a huge fan of that. Not a huge fan. And that's why I don't really trust Joseph Kosinski at this point, because I feel like he might be an apparati of the state. I mean, I think all big directors are apparati of the state. I think all of them are compromised. I think movies are compromised, which is one of the reasons why I think movies suck today. That's a whole topic in and of itself. Independence Day had a lot of political aspects in it. I noticed that. Yes, you could usually tell when a movie was made in conjunction with our government. Watch Enemy of the State. Not made in conjunction with our government. Was warning us about the surveillance state that is basically here. A lot of films. What else? What did I watch the other day? It was another film from the early 90s. Either way, you take my point. If you guys would like to see me do a whole video about this, You know, I'd love to do that, or a whole live stream where we're just asking questions to each other, talking about the things I know about the military-industrial... It's actually, the military-industrial complex is one thing, but the entertainment-industrial complex is a whole nother thing that not many people know about. But there's a Wikipedia. I mean, this is no surprise. You could look at the Wikipedia and you could see all the films. A lot of this starts during World War II for obvious reasons. One of the reasons I don't love World War II era films like 40s and 50s is because it's all straight propaganda. You know, it's hard. I could get behind a propagandistic film like The Patriot or something like that that has strong messages, but the war genre is the worst. Yeah, stuff. That's what I just said. Yeah, exactly. And I'd rather not watch that sort of xenophobic, you know, I know that word is compromised these days, but you're using it correctly, a xenophobic, you know, sort of propaganda. I don't mind, we just gotta get into that chat. Yeah, exactly. So let's save that for, you know, for another day when people know what to expect. I don't want to hit them with a whole bunch of politics stuff. But it's true. This is a thing that happens in our country on our dime. If you're American. Dave, you don't have to worry about it. Australia's got enough its own issues. All Western nations at this point have their own issues. A couple of VHS here, guys. Pritzi's Honor. Pritzi's Honor is a film by John Huston about a hitman and some romance kind of thing. I haven't seen the film. I always wanted to. My mom had this in her collection back in the 90s. She would never let me watch this. But it says a deliciously demented comedy. So there you go. Yeah, VHS. I think I'll bring this to the shop. Get some unique kind of VHS to the shop since they're selling really well. Here we have Fire Down Below, a Steven Seagal movie from the mid-90s. I think 94, 90, yeah, 97. Okay, so I was a little off on that. One of his later ones. But still a pretty fun movie, Fire Down Below. I remember this was kind of like the eco... No, that was the other one. The eco-terrorism kind of thing. But there's, what was this one about? Oh yeah, Environmental Protection Agency. He did a couple of these kinds of things. Again, this is propaganda. But, you know, it's like, fucking protect the environment, man, or Seagal's gonna break your limbs. I could use that. I could do that kind of thing. There's a fine line. I have a nuanced opinion about these things. Got our own barrel here. Yeah. Love that VHS is making a comeback. It sure is. Let's see. EPA Marshal Jack Taggart. It's his job to ferret out who's responsible for poisoning the land. When thugs try to take him out of the action, Taggart adds another line of work to his resume. He's in the butt-kicking business. That's what I watched yesterday, guys. I watched The Fugitive, rewatched The Fugitive. What a near masterpiece of a film. I think it slows down in the middle just a touch, but otherwise it's like a perfect film. That film, the plot of that, I don't want to spoil it, but I'll just say the plot of that involves pharmaceutical industries and their corruption. A film that probably wouldn't be able to be made today in America. I'm not kidding. I'm being very, very serious. So many Steven Seagal films in the 90s. Oh yeah, me too. Fugitive is excellent. I'm glad you agree with me there. You and I have very similar taste. Here we have another cool VHS, guys. Gladiator. I know this one will sell pretty well at the shop for $3 or $4. Nothing crazy, but I picked these up for 50 cents or $1 and I move them. Oh, here's another copy. 4 copies of 1923 there. And a few more VHS, some cool ones. Actually, we'll show this Bicentennial Man. I have a couple copies of this. I'm going to sell them off. I think they go for like $12 or so, so I'll probably bring these to the shop and see how they move there. A film that I'm trepidatious to watch again because I know it's going to rip my heart out. Knowing, you know, Robin Williams' fate. This is about a robot who improves himself over time as he grows with his family to the point where he becomes almost unrecognizable as a robot. He just looks like a fellow human. He acts like a fellow human. He gets better and better, and he fixes himself, and he upgrades himself. It's very interesting. It's almost like AI making itself better, you know, in that sort of the Matrix kind of future. But this is a beautiful movie. I loved it as a kid. I remember crying my eyes out as a kid when this came out. I was probably 9 or 10 years old, 97, 98, maybe. But Chris Columbus, he really knew how to pull the heartstrings in that Pixar-like way, and I think this is a great one. Yeah. Well, actually, better than that, Dave. My friend and the owner of the shop, I'll just say he allows me to do consignment, and so if I pick this up for $1 and sell it for $4 or $5, I make 85% of that. minus the $1 that I spent on it, plus tax, of course. And so he gives me 85%. He keeps 15 for me using his space, but he's offering a very nice, a very kind thing to me. So I'm very grateful, and I try not to abuse it. And he put me in charge of the DVD collection. So half of it is his, half of it is mine, and I think that's where most of that is. Go-to Halloween season film. It's funny because in September I watched so many horror films. It's all I did in September, and I'm burnt out. So I've been watching a lot of political thrillers and a lot of action movies like The Fugitive, and a couple more I'll talk about towards the end of this live stream. But yeah, I'm gonna have a sip of my combi. I do love to watch the Halloween tree. I wish I had that in my collection, in my horror wall, but I don't think I do. I love the Halloween tree. One that I want to watch this year is Something Wicked This Way Comes. And I think, yeah, I have that over there. So I want to watch that one. I've never seen it, believe it or not. I read the book back in the day. I remember renting that from the library. Thanksgiving films. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, hands down. I just rewatched Planes, Trains. And it's a perfect film. I thought it was a perfect film for years now. And it's a wonderful, wonderful film. This makes me cry. The performances by both Steve Martin and John Candy are perfect. They're impeccable. The chemistry between the two, the story, the way it unfolds, the way you learn more about John Candy's character, and you really, really feel for those characters at the end of this film. And they find each other, and it's just so beautiful. God, I can cry. This curmudgeon, this uptight curmudgeon businessman meets this sort of drifter, just drifting through, and we don't quite know what his deal is until the last act, and it's such a wonderful film. I could cry thinking about it. My favorite scene is when they wake up cuddling, and then they get up and they're like, oh, see the Bears game last night? Yeah, good game. Just like they're trying to be manly and masculine. It's wonderful. Yeah, I think it's perfect, personally. Shower curtain ring salesman. Yeah, and he sells them as earrings. Your John Candy performance. Spaceballs was funny. Yeah, Spaceballs is, I gotta be honest, I think Spaceballs is a little overrated. That's just me. I'm a way bigger on Young Frankenstein. But I do like Spaceballs. Favorite John Candy performance is probably Planes, Trains as Del Griffith. Maybe Uncle Buck. You know, the whole scene where he's like, I like me, you know? Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. Sorry. It's a beautiful scene. Spaceballs 2, I couldn't care less, Dave. I'm sorry, I couldn't care less about Spaceballs 2. Because I'm not a big fan of the first one, and I'm just so tired of reboots, rehashes, remakes, requels. I fucking hate it all. I hate modern Hollywood. I'm an old man now. What's a holiday? What's a holiday you feel deserves a great horror movie? That's a good one. I'm not sure. Can't think of that off the top of my head. You always ask the sharp questions. The Simpsons movie 2, we all know, remember how good the first one did. Yeah. Same, I just love Mel Brooks. Yeah, I love Mel Brooks too, of course. But, I mean, how much is he really going to have to do with this? He's 97 or whatever, 95, 98, who knows. We need more October 19th films. What happened October 19th? Am I tripping? Is that like am I supposed to know that? Anyway, so we've got a couple really cool VHS here, guys, that definitely are going to the shop. And I think I can probably get a good chunk of change out of these. It's October 19th today. For me, answer would be Easter. Yeah, Easter would be a good horror movie. I haven't seen any good Easter horror movies. There's a lot that can be done there with Christian mythology, too. Cutters 2? Or Critters? Yeah, Critters. Okay, I didn't know that took place on Easter. That's interesting. But here we have the CBS Fox Video versions of Star Wars and Return of the Jedi. They were missing Empire Strikes Back, oddly. And but I picked these two up. These I could probably get $10 a piece for. These are classic VHS covers here. Look at that. Back in the day when they used to just put the fucking poster on the box. The people in it were on the back. Look at that. Wonderful. I'm almost tempted to keep them because they're that cool, but, you know, I don't need them. All right, next up, we've got... Okay, so it's actually my stack of stuff here, guys. And I hate to do this to you, but I gotta use the bathroom again. So you guys stay tight, chat amongst, or sit tight, chat amongst yourselves. Be right back. See, is it working? Okay. It looks okay? Is it good? Okay. I'll see you in a few hours then. Oh, Lord. It's like my body wants to do this, but, or my mind wants to do this, but my body is like, eh. I can't believe I'm still out of it. All right, guys, I'm back here. Oh, nice and easy. We watched Revenge of the Sith earlier this year, better than I remembered. Yes, Revenge of the Sith is awesome. I've always liked that one. Use the same type of water bottle. Good for you, smart man. Drink out of glass, folks, and try to filter your water if you can. So you guys have Halloween then, Thanksgiving coming up? Yes, we do. We do. Halloween's coming up pretty soon. I've already kind of did my Halloween though last month. I couldn't wait. And Christmas seems like a busy holiday season. Yes, it is. That's for sure. And it's getting more hardened as time goes by. Like, we're forgetting about the traditions and the things that bind us. And as time goes by, we're just, like, ravenous for consumerism. It's pretty sickening. It's not like how it was in the 90s. Things were a little calmer in the 90s. There were crazy things like Tickle Me Elmo, sure. But people weren't getting, like, stomped out. I don't know. It's just a different time. It's a big consumer thing. For me, Christmas is about family, getting together with family, the music, the traditional Christmas music, Nat King Cole, Bing Crosby, all that beautiful stuff, the Peanuts, that stuff. In my opinion, this is going to sound schmaltzy here, but in my opinion, that's like the last bastion of unity that this country has. Call it Christian, call it whatever you want. Yes, it's a Christian holiday, no doubt about it. I was raised Catholic. That has something to do with it. I'm agnostic now, but I'm searching every day for the truth, for answers and whatnot. But I love Christmas. I love the traditions. I love all of that, and it's sad to see it kind of slipping away, but it's up to the individuals in a society to maintain these things. As long as we're a free society, people can celebrate what they want to celebrate. Yeah, Christmas has changed there also. That's sad to see. But again, I mean, that's a Christian nation. That doesn't mean everybody has to be Christian, obviously, but there's certain things that tie a society together. I've learned as I've gotten older. I pushed religion away so far, and then I realized how important religion was to most people. And even to myself. I might not be a Christian, but I am religious, spiritual. There's no doubt about it. This whole world is crazy. It's been beautiful and tragic. I just have a quiet one myself. Watch the Christmas carols on TV. Yeah, stuff like, I love Christmas carols. I'll watch 1,000 Christmas Carol adaptations. I love the book. The book, there's nothing like the book, but I love the Muppet Christmas Carol. It's just, yeah, it's great stuff. I grew up Muslim, but every year we'd watch holiday movies and Christmas movies. See, I think that's great. I think that's great, celebrating in other people's, other traditions that may not have been necessarily your ancestries, but I think that's beautiful. That's what film is all about, you know? That's what film is all about. I lost my faith when I was a teenager, when I discovered the internet and discovered how much I was lied to. I was 15 years old. I was on a political and spiritual awakening. It was amazing, but I pushed it too far out. I threw the baby out with the bathwater, and over the next 20 years, I've learned the importance of religion. I still have a very nuanced opinion on religion. I'm agnostic. I lean toward something creating something, but I don't think our conception of that thing is... I think a lot of people get close. I think religions are the act of getting closer to that truth, that meaning. And I think most religions have a lot of things in common. And I think we need to realize that maybe we're all working toward something, the truth. I think that's the way that I look at it, frankly. So I don't dive into one religion. I've studied all religions, and I think they all, whether it's polytheistic or monotheistic, I think they all are cut from the same cloth. I think we all observe the same things about this crazy world around us. And instead of fighting, we should celebrate those, obviously. But, you know, house carols, yeah, back in the day we used to have those in the 90s. Oh, no, it's totally fine. I get going, and I care a little less about saying what I feel about these things right now. Like, I don't care anymore. Whoever wants to listen can listen. Who doesn't, that's fine. Move on. I don't want to bring it. Let's see. I miss the old days of Ernest Saves Christmas. There you go. I still want a Blu-ray of that one. Have they released a Blu-ray of that? Does anybody know? Ernest Saves Christmas is a great Christmas movie. All right, guys. So next up, we're going to do my stack. The stuff that sorry. Yeah, Religion for Power is scary. No doubt about it. Sorry, you guys just saw my nipples. I apologize. When people use religion for power, yes, of course. And that's why organized religion is probably not great. I think religion needs to be inside. We need to appreciate everybody's differences. But, right, yeah, people in power don't care about religion. They use it as a weapon. Actually, don't take God's name in vain, one of the Christian commandments. Second one is all about that. You know, how many people in the history, the Inquisition, how many people in history have used whatever God's name in vain, whichever God's name in vain, which I all think they're one God or one creator, probably. I'm not so convinced that creator is benevolent, though. I think, if anything, ambivalent or indifferent, which is where I get into, you know, controversial territory, and we'll move on from there. But I could talk about this forever, and I have. One of my best friends is a religious scholar and a Christian, and God, we have such great conversation. Remember Steve that was on one of the live streams? He's a brilliant kid. He's 21 years old, but he's brilliant. Way smarter than I am. And I just ask him questions, and we try to get to the truth, and it's a wondrous sort of exercise that him and I get into. Yeah, I watched Ernest Scared Stupid. I have that one. Here we are. Yeah, I watched this the other night, and I still have a lot of fun with this movie, Ernest Scared Stupid. I'm so glad I have this in my collection. I think it was Colton Owens. I'm not sure if you watch anymore, Colton, but we did a trade, and I ended up getting a copy of that, and it's out of print. It goes for quite a bit. All right, guys, I'm losing steam, so I'm going to go ahead and get on target, on focus. I'll get focused here on my stack. This last stack of movies are the things that I'm keeping in my collection. First up, I spent $4 on this, or like $3 on... It's not, yeah. Yeah, televangelist. If you want to go down a rabbit hole, check out Gnosticism. Oh yeah, no, I actually am really interested in Gnosticism. If anything, that's what I read the most. It's very interesting to me, and I think a lot of the ideas are totally plausible. That's the thing. Anyway, Gnosticism is very cool. I have a bunch of great texts on it that I've read. So, cats, oh! I always do that. Cats, oh! Instead of Flash Gordon. This is supposed to be one of the worst movies of all time. One of the worst movies of all time. According to Letterboxd, according to IMDb. This is in the dumps. The reviews, nobody likes this film. I bet you I'm going to like it for all the wrong reasons. I'm not sure if I can watch it alone. It's also 2 hours long. It looks so effing terrible and weird and creepy and uncanny. But for a few bucks, I had to give this a shot. Because I've heard nothing but disastrous things about this. So, Cats. I gotta watch that one. Next up, speaking of propagandistic war films, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this one around because, like I said, I keep these around and then I never watch them. I'm just not sure I'd enjoy it. But The Frogman, directed by Lloyd Bacon, edited by Samuel Hamm. No, I'm just kidding. 1951, so this is going to be pure propaganda. Thrilling World War II adventure, yada, yada, yada. Bad guys, we're going to get the bad guys, we're the good guys. That's one thing I learned about history and about war. There are no good and bad. Everybody's kind of in the gray area. So, there are some worse than others, for sure. But, I mean, that's a hard thing to parse. I don't like any of them. I don't like war. War sucks. Nobody wins. There are some justified revolutions, of course, but anyway. Here's a cool one. Irma la Douce. With Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine. So a cast that I enjoy. This is supposed to be, I believe, like a romantic comedy of some kind. But I've never heard of this. It's from 1963. It's 2.5 hours. And it's directed by Billy Wilder. So I had to pick this up for all of those reasons. What's the old saying? His version, the other guy's version, and the truth. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I'm interested in that gray area. The truth. Cold hard. I've read some of the worst things that a human could possibly read in my life. I enjoy, well, I find reading that kind of thing is important. Read a book called Ordinary Men. It'll change the way you look at humanity. Or Eichmann in Jerusalem. I'm a believer in the banality of evil. It's a scary, scary theory, but I believe it's true. So, there you go. Here we have the Jesse Stone 9-movie collection with Tom Selleck. I was so glad to run across this entire box set here because I had, the 2 DVDs that had all the films in them, or most of the films, and this finally collects all of them together for a 9-movie collection. It's got Stone Cold, Steve Austin, Night Passage, Death in Paradise, Sea Change, Thin Ice, No Remorse, Innocence Lost, Benefit of the Doubt, Lost in Paradise. And so I want to check these out. What I'll do is I'll watch the first one and I'll see how I like it. I'm not sure how I'm going to enjoy these. I really am not. They might suck. These are crime procedural thrillers with a little bit of action, I think. Book, movie, or fictional media you've consumed. Book, movie, or fictional media that properly got into. Martyrs, definitely, which is interesting because we're on the topic of religion and truth. Martyrs definitely got under my skin. But in terms of books, I read nothing but nonfiction for the most part. So Ordinary Men, Eichmann in Jerusalem, The Origins of Totalitarianism. Hannah Arendt is one of my favorite authors, but she's going to give it to you cold, boy. I'm also a bit of an existentialist, so I believe life doesn't have much meaning unless you find meaning. So I'm a big reader of Camus. The Myth of Sisyphus was a tough read. The Stranger. There's a lot of... I read a lot. So, have you ever seen a movie called Coup de Ville? Coup de Ville. See, Coup. Coup is in my head because I'm a crazy man. I watched Che last night, by the way. We'll talk about that later. With Daniel Stern. No, used to watch it as a kid. My sister hired heaps. No, I've never heard of that one. I have to check it out. I love Daniel Stern. I'm always looking for more movies with him. But yeah, what do you guys think? Have you seen any of these Jesse Stone kind of procedural cop? He's a chief of police in a cold gray seaside town where a serial killer strikes. That sounds good to me. I think they're technically TV films. This one was cool to find out in the wild. An Alex de la Iglesia film. He did Dia de la Bete, which is Day of the Beast, which is a remarkable film. Says I'm a big existentialist too, and the absurdity of life. Yeah, that's what it's absurd. Best way to deal with it is to laugh. Exactly. That's where I'm at as a 37-year-old. If I come across it, definitely watch it. I will, Dave. That one sounds really cool. Diner with him and Mickey Rourke. I haven't seen Diner either. But Alex de la Iglesia, he did a film called Last Circus and Dia de la Bete, which is Day of the Beast, which is such a remarkable film about a priest who has to do evil to try to defeat Satan. It's really awesome. Oh, thank you very much. Well, I've been studying for a couple of years, so I would hope so. But yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I watched Che back in the day. Yeah, I liked it too. We'll talk about that in a minute. They copped a lot of black, a lot of slack, maybe. But this is the Oxford Murders, guys. This is a John Hurt and Elijah Wood film. Body is discovered by 2 men. Quickly becomes clear the first in a series of murders. So serial killer on a campus, or not on a campus. Yeah, I guess on a campus, Oxford. I don't know much about this, but hey, Alex de la Iglesia, written and directed. It's also directed by, or written by a guy named Gary Caechevarria. Which is quite the beautiful Spanish last name. Have I seen... Yeah, and I can understand why it received the flack. Have you seen his film from 97 that's sort of like From Dusk Till Dawn? No, that's... What was that? Ocupación Mutante. Ocupación Mutante, is that the one? It's got like a person in a wheelchair on like a sign in the front. I forget. Dance with the Devil, yeah. Dance with the Devil. Yeah, I did see Dance with the Devil. I'm pretty sure I have that. Devil. Yeah, I do have that over there. That's with Rosie Perez, right? That was a really good one. I thought that was a really interesting one. I need to rewatch that. It's been a while. But yeah, Oxford Murders. I think this is a cool one to pick up. I'm a fan of Alex de la Iglesia. Here we have a French film, Les Choristes. This is The Chorus. Seen myself, but I received a 4K. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I have it on DVD. I'm looking at it over there. But The Chorus, one of the best films of the year, according to CBS Radio. This is from, let's see, PG-13. It doesn't say the year on it, which I always appreciate. So who the hell knows when this is from? I'd say within the last, like 20, probably 09 or something like that. 08, judging by the look of it. But best form, 2004. There you go. Don't know much about this, but it's supposed to be a very good drama. It's got very high ratings. So I'm going to keep that around. Clown and Cornfield, yeah. More clown slash. Exactly. I thought it was a fun film. A little heavy-handed in its messaging, but that's okay. Still an entertaining film. You could be heavy-handed, just be entertaining. Even if I disagree. I have the capacity to disagree. It's this crazy, crazy trait that I've acquired. Booker T, The Early Years, Classic Superstars of Wrestling. Booker T is one of the classic, great WCW wrestlers and WWF wrestlers. And this is some of his early matches with Mike Davis, Alex Pertot, Super Destroyer, Action Jackson, a lot of people I haven't even heard of. It's not quite my era, but I think it's pretty cool to get this DVD with like an hour worth of his matches to see how he was in his earlier days. Yeah, I've seen Clown House. I thought it was very good. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, that story, yeah, that's bad. That's what he got arrested for, wasn't it? Like, having sex with kids on the set of Clown House, Victor Salva. But stars young Sam That's right, young Sam Rockwell. So, it's a rough one. Good movie, though. Joanne Wally Kilmer. I guess she was married to Val Kilmer at this time. Armand Asante. Gabriel Byrne and William Hurt, so an incredible cast. This is some sort of crime thriller that involves John Gotti. And for one juror, the question of guilt or innocence is a matter of life or death. Sorry, guys, it's freezing up a little bit. I just want to make sure. Yeah, all right. Seems fine. But yeah, Trial by Jury is one that I had never heard of, so I had to pick it up since it involved the mob. And I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. It's got William Hurt here on the back with a gun, so maybe there's a little bit of action. It says rated R for violence and language, so yeah, cool. I love violence and language in movies. Well, I like language too in real life. Hotel California, such a lonely place. So, Hotel California. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Hotel California is a film that I picked up because there were only 2 on DVD or on eBay. One for $50 and one for $70. None had sold, so I don't think it's worth that. But it's kind of interesting to see. I don't know much about this, but we'll give it a shot. It's from 08. Looks like a crime film of some kind. Do I have a favorite found footage movie? Yeah, favorite found footage movie is Blair Witch. It's a bit of a cop-out. I did years ago 50 found footage films ranked, which is still like it is my most watched video. You should, yeah. It's a little dated now, but I've seen a lot more found footage films, and of course my opinion's always changing. But people comment on that as if it's static, which I always think is funny. You didn't put this on. It's like, well, I hadn't seen it yet. Give me a break. Yes, so anyway, so next up we have a cool one. Not a movie. This is a game. I just think this is a cool looking little, almost not survival horror, but kind of survival mystery. Dark Web. I'm glad you enjoyed it. See, I'm not crazy. Dark Web is fantastic. It might even be better than the first Unfriended, but I love the innovation of the first Unfriended. Here we have The Ship. Bon voyage forever. It says, Mr. X invites you to luxury cruise with a gruesome twist. Your ticket is free, but in return you've got to murder one of your fellow passengers while entertaining Mr. X by knocking them off in a fresh and original way. Why not lock them in the freezer, poison them, or whack them with a frying pan? Oh, and make sure you eat, sleep, and entertain yourself. Go to the bathroom, keep yourself clean, and above all, keep looking over your shoulder because someone is out to get you. So, it does sound a bit like a survival mystery kind of game. I mean, it looks cool. It's from, I'm not sure when. I would say the mid-2000s, 07. And so when I can figure out a way to play it, I just think it's cool to have a big box here. And PC games. I'm a sucker for these kind of big box PC games. Here we have The Inspectors. They're a two-man anti-terrorism team. Louis Gossett Jr. and Jonathan Silverman. Brad Turner. 1998 this came out. So based on actual cases of the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, Brad Turner's fast-paced thriller, mysterious mail bomber terrorizing a Baltimore suburb. So that sounds cool. So Gossett and Silverman. Jonathan Silverman is from Weekend at Bernie's, if you remember. He was one of the main characters who was carrying around Bernie for most of the movie, or Terry Kaiser. This one looks like a bit of an action film, bit of a thriller. So I think it was a Showtime original, it looks like. It's probably in full screen. Here's a VHS that I'm keeping in the collection. It's not in the best of shape, but it's watchable, I believe. From 1985, a film called Crossover, with an aging James Coburn, a John Guillermin film, directed by him. Let's see, let's read a little bit. A humorous drama about love and lust, life and death. John is an extraordinarily caring male nurse who works the late evening shift in a psychiatric ward. His life is peopled with a group of endearing and enchanting loonies, both in and out of the hospital. His true friend and lover, Nurse Peabody, takes the back seat to his patients and she feels neglected. John ignores her anger and continues his compulsive dedication to his patients' work, but when one of the patients commits suicide, his life shatters into a rude awakening. To survive it, Patman must cross over the thin line between sanity and love. So this is a drama, for the most part, but it's one that never made it to DVD, guys. Yes, it is fascinating, for sure. I've seen a lot of movies. Just gonna mention Bernie's. Yeah, he was also in a short live sitcom. A single guy in the mid... Okay, I didn't know that. But Crossover, anytime I come across a VHS that never made it to DVD or Blu-ray and obviously streaming, I pick it up because this is a relic. This is a relic that might be lost to time if it never gets a re-release, and I don't think something like this will, frankly. So, pretty cool one. Here we have a film that I've owned in the collection before, or got rid of, and now I own again because I have a newfound appreciation for Joe Carnahan after watching Narc the other night. Narc absolutely floored me. I fucking loved Narc. I'd seen it back in the day, but didn't appreciate it as much as I do now. It is a bleak, gritty, narcotic cop film who's trying to figure out what happened to the last guy that was undercover, who was killed. Ray Liotta puts in one of the performances of his life. Jason Patric is absolutely fantastic as the center of the storm. Narc is an incredible movie with a kinetic cinematography style, sort of handheld, very gonzo, very good. Such a great movie. The ending absolutely floored me and ripped my heart out. It's a beautiful movie. Not beautiful, but beautifully tragic. Sword and Sandals, Sword and Sorcery Binge. No, not really. Stuff like Deathstalker. I watch those on occasion, but I've never really gotten into that groove. I would like to. I do like Deathstalker, and I love the Lou Ferrigno Hercules films by Luigi Cozzi, I think it was. Latin American films. What's your favorite? Favorite Latin American film? Oh, I mean, there's a lot of countries there. One that comes to mind, I really loved Cold Sweat. I watched that Argentine film, very political, last month. I thought that was a great film. But yeah, no, I love the language. I love the cultures. I love the peoples. I love the history. Boy, do I love the history. A sordid history for Latin America, South America. A lot of dictators. Propped up by our government. Yay! Sorry about that. Wasn't my fault. I guess my tax money went into it, but wasn't my fault. It's my fault. A-Team. What do you guys think about this film? I really want to watch this one again because, again, I like Joe Carnahan, but it seems like right after Narc, he just kind of got super mainstream, which is sad because, man, what if he continued making those 70s-style Friedkin, William Friedkin type films? That would have been cool. Soy Cuba is technically a propaganda film, but it's beautifully filmed. Right. Listen, October is a Bolshevik propaganda film. A lot of Soviet films are Soviet propaganda, but they're beautiful. You could, again, if you understand that film is a very powerful medium. The Nazis knew this. Watch Triumph of the Will by Leni Riefenstahl. I mean, an incredibly beautiful film, cinematographically speaking, and editing-wise. But it's a literal Nazi propaganda film, so, you know, it is what it is. If you ever get the chance to watch El Camaleon with Sergio Goyri, you should. It's pretty bad. It's bad, meaning good, or just bad? I kind of forget how that film was. I wasn't a huge fan. Yeah, so A-Team, I wasn't a huge fan the first time around, but after Narc, I feel like I need to give his films one more try. Here's another Superstars of Yesteryear, classic Superstars of Wrestling, featuring Nick Bockwinkel, Kurt Hennig, aka Mr. Perfect, the Fabulous Firebirds, Jerry Lawler, the King, and others. So this is, again, like old, probably 70s, early 80s wrestling, of which I don't watch too much. I more so watch 90s onwards, or even 85. I really love, you know, that era too. Here we have You Are Allergic To, Have Given Up On. Yeah, Jesus Franco. No es fanático. No Me Es is a modern take on a noir film about a guy who could shapeshift to commit crimes. It's slow and just bad. Not good, but worth watching. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Thanks, No Mail. Here we have a sequel to a film I don't think I own, but it does fall into the horror genre, so when I find the original, I will pick it up. Single White Female 2, The Psycho. Don't know much about this. I know it's, like I said, got horror elements, kind of stalker vibes going on, stalker horror. It's supposed to be pretty good. The first one's supposed to be pretty good. I'm not sure about the second one, though. I gotta get going. I'm talking too much. It's not a great idea. Oh, well. Next up, guys, we have a double feature here. A couple one's a romance comedy, I think. Good Advice with Charlie Sheen, Angie Harmon, Denise Richards, and then A Million to Juan with Paul Rodriguez from 1993, I believe, or is it 94? I think one's from 93 and the other's. Oh no, wait. 01. Yeah, I think this is from 93. And A Million, I really did pick it up for A Million to Juan because it's a comedy from the 90s that I've yet to see with a Mexican-American actor. He wrote the film, or inspired by... It was based on a story by Mark Twain. Okay, interesting. Paul Rodriguez was inspired by it, and then he directed it. So he starred, directed, and helped write it. And, yeah, I want to check that one out. Rated PG, too. That's rare for the 90s. Wonder if it's funny. Good Advice. I mean, that's a good extra one to get with Charlie Sheen, but I'm not sure if I'll watch it. It looks like a rom-com. Oh, cool movie. Good. Good to hear, Dave. Thank you. Crooklyn. Crooklyn's a great film. Tragic film. And last but not least, folks, we're going to talk about, real quick, a film that was baffling when I found it. Les Formidables. So, Les Formidables is a French title. So I figured this was like a French version of a South Korean, because I saw the South Korean names, Jong-hoon Park and Jong Myung-chun. I could tell when a name is Japanese or Chinese or Korean. So I saw the Korean names and then the French title. But that was the title. The Koreans named it Les Formidables. Which I think means the formats or something. Formidable. Or, yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Any French speakers out there? I'm not great with French. I could break it down usually, but yeah, this one's directed by Min Ho Cho, and it's some sort of, you know, I believe, Heroic Bloodshed kind of inspired South Korean film here from '07. So I think that's cool, and I was glad to find it. It has a sticker on the artwork, which I always hate, but yeah, Les Formidables. I think that this one's kind of neat. To make matters, killed during a routine stakeout. Yeah, so it's cops kind of thing. Very cool. All right, guys. I wish I could talk about some of the films that I watched, but honestly, I need to stop talking. It's not helping my chest right now, so I'm going to leave it there for today. We'll talk about the films I watched very recently. I'll just say I did watch Narc, and I watched We Own the Night, some of the more notable ones. We Own the Night is absolutely incredible. I think it's a modern, damn near masterpiece of a film. I thought it was fantastic. I watched Shooter the other night, which was a lot of fun. Still have fun with this Fuqua kind of conspiracy action thriller there. And Che Part 1, Steven Soderbergh, definitely on the topper end of the higher end of the Steven Soderbergh films for me. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Yeah, as far as I know, pretty true to the history. Even displayed some of Che's flaws. Definitely was a romanticized version of the revolution. There's no question about that. There's nothing romantic about violence. I understand that the individuals caught up in it mythologize to get through the war, and I can't imagine what it would be like. I could imagine myself fighting in some sort of a revolution if my rights were to be encroached upon, which they are currently. So I'm not averse to the idea of fighting for freedom and for your beliefs and what one believes in. But once that group gets bigger and bigger and turns into an army and turns into a political movement, a lot of things can go wrong, which is what went wrong in Cuba. So, but one thing about this was the action was shot very procedurally, very well. It's not the whole movie, no. I have Che 2 here. Yeah, I'd like to get like a Blu-ray. Yeah, no, the runtime I don't mind. 4 hours. It's really procedural, really well done, and really traces the history of the revolution in very interesting ways. It's a movie from the perspective of the revolution and how they're on the ground and how they're gaining territory. I love that kind of thing. It's very strategic, very cool. But Benicio del Toro has really never been better than this in a lead role. I mean, he's always incredible, but he disappears in this role as Che Guevara. It's Ernesto Che Guevara. One thing I noticed about the way they spoke, the dialect of Cubano, what they really, like their S's are almost non-existent, like no ma, it's like very subtle. Ernesto, like it's very, I just thought it was a very, whereas I'm trying to be very proper and pronounce every word, it was very natural coming out of their mouths, and I was very inspired by it. I found myself mimicking almost every line, It helps me learn that way too. But Benicio del Toro is absolutely of the bulls, which is what his last name means. In this movie, he's incredible, fantastic, really feels like a leader, an ailing leader, with his own ideals and beliefs, and he was quite the speaker in real life. Quite the revolutionary. He was something else. Love him or hate him, for all of his good and his bad. There was definitely a bit of both. I have a saying about great people. Doesn't mean they're good or bad. Great people step outside of the moral realm that most people find themselves in, out of necessity. All great people do. Now, some great people lean towards bad, some great people lean towards good, some play the middle pretty well. But I thought the film itself, aside from the history, which it's a very interesting history. I have my issues with all these people, but I have that luxury as a person living in this country. But Benicio just blew me away in this film. Can't deny he was impactful. That's right, no question about it. And diagnosed a lot of the issues, that imperialism portrays, but. Just like all ideologies, it could be co-opted and changed over time. Again, usually out of necessity, even if it starts in a good place, which I do believe the Cuban Revolution starts in a good place. Just like the American Revolution. I can't say that for every revolution. The Czech Republic, that revolution was peaceful. But yeah, anyway, guys, this was an incredible film. I am gonna get back to relaxing and playing that because I played this over and over. I love this game. I just ran through yesterday. All I did was play Resident Evil 7. I ran through it on normal. Really, really fun. Had a great time with that. And so I'm going to yeah, revolutions are a symptom, and the problem with revolutions is that they have to retain power, and with that, power changes everything. It's the dynamic that changes everything. And so revolutions are a symptom. There's right ways to do it and wrong ways to do it. A lot of what they did before the revolution, the war for the war that got them to the true revolution, was, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, they're often a symptom, and what I found through history is that usually when the current government is overthrown, an equally bad one or worse one goes into place. So I'm all for it being slightly less bad or better, but history proves that doesn't happen very often. I'd say maybe 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. So that's just human nature, man. All right, guys, I will talk to you very soon. Thank you all for tuning in. This was a really fun live stream. Helped me get some stuff off my chest. I haven't been able to talk in a while and talk about some cool movies. And I hope to see you guys very, very soon. I thought there was another one. Oh, yeah, I watched Executive Decision 2 with Seagal and Kurt Russell. That's a slow film, but not bad. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bored Cyborg is out. Peace. Oh, hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up for a sick man. Come on, you can do it. Peace, guys. Thank you very much.